Ever wish you could control your entire home lab, just with a snap of your fingers? Effortlessly spin up virtual machines, test new software, all without those usual headaches. Well, today we're diving into something that just might make that a reality.
Oh, this sounds intriguing.
It is. It is. We know you've been exploring Proxmox for your home lab, which is essentially your own personal playground for tech experiments.
Yeah.
And you're ready to kind of step things up a bit, right? Managing multiple Proxmox hosts without constantly switching between screens.
Yeah, that can get pretty cumbersome.
Totally. And this article we found about the newly released Proxmox Datacenter Manager, PDM, has some really cool solutions for that.
PDM, tell me more.
Think of it as a central command center for your virtual world. The article calls it Proxmox's answer to VMware vCenter, a single dashboard to manage all your Proxmox hosts and clusters. But, and this is key, without that hefty price tag.
Oh, that's great, especially for Homelab users who might not have those big enterprise budgets.
Exactly. And they really stepped up their game in terms of design, too. The article describes it as sleek, modern interface, a far cry from the maybe more utilitarian look of their previous products.
That makes sense. They're really focusing on making this user-friendly.
Right. And even in the alpha release, they've got some really impressive features. Multi-host and multi-cluster integration, remote management capabilities, performance monitoring across your entire setup.
Wow, so you can really see everything that's going on.
You got it. And super easy deployment as well. They're really thinking about what Homelab users need.
It sounds like they're hitting all the right notes. But what really strikes me is how PDM offers this cross-host visibility without forcing you into the complexities of clustering.
Oh, interesting. Could you elaborate on that a bit?
Sure. Let's say you have separate Proxmox nodes dedicated to different projects, maybe one for your website, another for your game server, and one for, say, experimenting with security tools.
Right. A lot of people have those kinds of diverse setups.
Exactly. PDM lets you manage all of those from one central location without needing to cluster them together. That's a huge amount of flexibility.
So no more jumping between screens or remembering different logins.
No more of that. It's
Yeah.
all there in one place.
That's fantastic. And it gets even better. The article lays out a pretty ambitious roadmap for PDM. Improved health overviews, better ways to organize your resources, simpler ways to add remote nodes.
They're really thinking ahead.
They are. Enhanced search and filtering, integration with software-defined networking,
Yeah.
SDN. They're even planning on adding off-site replication, bulk actions for managing multiple virtual machines.
Yeah, that's a lot.
I know, right? And they're going to refine that interface even further. Plus, they're aiming for an active standby architecture, meaning high availability for PDM itself.
It seems like they're going all in on this. Even though it's still in alpha, this roadmap shows Proxmox is serious about making PDM a real competitor to solutions like vCenter.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Now imagine your current setup. You might be juggling multiple terminal windows or using third-party tools just to keep things running.
Yeah, I can see how that gets old fast.
PDM could really streamline that workflow in ways you might not even realize are possible.
It really could. Instead of switching between interfaces or using workarounds, you can have a unified view and control.
That's going to be a huge relief for a lot of people.
It is. And that's just the beginning. Once they implement more of their roadmap, PDO could become really powerful, even for complex home lab setups.
The article mentions bulk actions, but doesn't really dive into what that means.
Oh, that's a good point. Bulk actions would let you do things like start, stop, or even clone virtual machines across multiple nodes with just one click.
So you wouldn't have to go to each one individually.
Nope. Think of all the time and effort that could save. It's all about efficiency, making those day-to-day tasks simpler.
And speaking of simplifying things, there's that SDN integration they mentioned.
Ah, yes. Software-defined networking.
Right. For those who aren't familiar, SDN is basically a centralized way to control and configure your network. It's all about flexibility, adapting to your needs.
Exactly. Imagine defining how your virtual machines connect to the network without messing with physical switches.
Right. That sounds a lot easier.
It is. Integrating SDN with PDM could really streamline network management within your home lab. It would give you a more cohesive and powerful way to manage your entire virtual environment.
That's a powerful combination. But the article focuses a lot on the technical side. I'm curious about the bigger picture impact of PDM, especially for home lab enthusiasts and small businesses who can't afford those pricey enterprise solutions.
That's a great question. You see, PDM has the potential to, well, democratize access to powerful virtualization tools.
Democratize.
Yes. Traditionally, features like centralized management, advanced monitoring, and streamlined resource allocation were only available in those expensive solutions.
I see what you mean, like the VMware vCenter we talked about earlier.
Exactly. PDM offers a more affordable alternative without compromising on features. This could be a game changer for Homelab users who want to up their virtualization game.
So it's not just about making things easier. It's about opening up new possibilities.
Exactly. PDM could level the playing field, allowing more people to experiment with advanced techniques, really push those boundaries in their home labs.
That's a really exciting prospect. But PDM is still in alpha. Are there any potential downsides we should know about, especially compared to, say, vCenter?
That's a good point. While PDM's roadmap is impressive, some advanced features found in vCenter, like live migration of virtual machines between different data centers, are still under development.
So it's not a complete replacement just yet.
Right. And vCenter has a more mature API and a bigger ecosystem of third-party tools, which could be important for some. It really comes down to your specific needs.
So it's all about choosing the right tool for the job.
Precisely. PDM might not be a vCenter killer yet, but it's definitely a strong contender for those who want affordability, ease of use, and that specific feature set.
It's an exciting development for sure. And as Proxmox keeps working on PDM, it'll be interesting to see how it evolves.
I agree. We'll definitely have to keep an eye on it.
It's almost like Proxmox is saying, hey, we get it. Managing multiple Proxmox nodes can be a real pain, so let's make things easier.
Yeah, absolutely. They're really recognizing the struggles that their users are facing, especially those who are running home labs and trying to offer a solution that simplifies things, without sacrificing power or flexibility.
And the article really highlights how PDM benefits those running individual nodes for, different projects.
Imagine this. You've got one node that's dedicated to your website, another one's humming away with your game server, and maybe a third one where you're kind of experimenting with new software or testing out some security configurations. In the past, managing those separate nodes meant you were constantly switching between screens, different interfaces.
Right, it was a real juggling act.
Exactly. But with PDM, you can bring them all under one roof, so to speak. You get that centralized view and control without being forced into that cluster configuration.
Which is a big deal for Homelab users who, maybe don't want or need the added complexity of a cluster.
Exactly. PDM strikes a really great balance there. It offers those benefits of centralized management and monitoring, but it still allows you to maintain the independence of your individual nodes.
So you can have your cake and eat it too.
Precisely.
Now, it's important to remember that the article does mention that PDM is still in its early stages, being an alpha release. So naturally, there are areas where it might lag behind those more established solutions like vCenter.
That's true. Some of the more advanced features like live migration between data centers or, deeper API integration for some more complex automations, those are still on the roadmap for PDM.
Gotcha. So it's not quite there yet, but it's getting there.
Exactly. It's a work in progress, but they're headed in the right direction.
But even in its current state, PDM seems like a major step forward for Proxmox. They're addressing a real need, and they're offering a compelling alternative to those pricier enterprise solutions.
I completely agree. And the ambitious roadmap that they laid out really demonstrates their commitment to making PDM a serious player in this market. It shows they're really in it for the long haul.
Thinking about all this, it really feels like Proxmox is striving to make virtualization more accessible and enjoyable. I mean, imagine a world where managing your virtual machines, your containers, across multiple nodes is actually, dare I say, fun.
Oh, I love that thought. And it's certainly a possibility with a tool like PDM. You've got this intuitive interface, the centralized control, and the potential for even more advanced features down the road. It really is an exciting time to be a Proxmox user.
It is. The article really emphasized that convenience factor, and I can say that's what really resonates with me.
Absolutely. Being able to monitor your resource usage across your entire setup, manage those virtual machines and containers from one location, and even streamline tasks like backups and updates. I mean, that's a huge boost for productivity.
It really frees you up to focus on the things that you actually enjoy about having a home lab. The experimenting, the learning, the building.
Exactly.
And let's not forget about the cost savings. PDM delivers a lot of that same functionality as vCenter, but without requiring that hefty enterprise-level investment.
You got it. And that makes it particularly attractive for home lab users and small businesses who are working with maybe a tighter budget. It opens up a whole world of possibilities without needing that huge financial commitment.
The article concludes by suggesting that PDM has the potential to redefine how people approach virtualization. And honestly, I'm inclined to agree. They're bringing those enterprise-level features to, the masses in a way that's both powerful and easy to use.
It's democratizing virtualization in a sense, giving individuals and smaller organizations access to those tools and capabilities that were previously out of reach. And that's a really exciting development. It has the potential to, foster innovation, creativity within the Homelab community and even beyond.
It really does. As Proxmox continues to develop and refine PDM, it's going to be fascinating to see how it evolves. I have a feeling that this is just the beginning of a very exciting journey for both Proxmox and its users.
I couldn't agree more. The potential here is immense, and I'm really eager to see how users leverage PDM to kind of push those boundaries of what's possible in their home labs. Who knows what incredible innovations might emerge from this newfound accessibility to such powerful tools.
It's funny, we started talking about PDM as like a command center for your virtual world, but after this conversation, it feels like so much more than that.
I agree. It's not just about control. It's about, empowerment. It's giving users the tools they need to build and experiment and learn in ways that just weren't possible before.
It's like Proxmox handed you this toolbox filled with all these incredible gadgets and said, go create something amazing.
Yeah, and the best part is that toolbox is still growing. With that ambitious roadmap, it's clear Proxmox is committed to adding even more powerful features.
Thinking back to the article, one thing that really stuck with me was how PDM simplifies managing backups and updates. That can be a real chore, especially as you add more nodes.
Oh, absolutely. Juggling backups and updates across multiple nodes, it can be a nightmare, logistically.
Totally.
But with PDM, you can streamline the whole thing. Imagine scheduling backups for all your virtual machines across multiple nodes, just a few clicks. Or pushing updates to all your hosts from one interface.
That's got to be a huge time saver.
It is, and it helps ensure your home lab is protected, running smoothly.
It's almost like having a personal IT assistant just for your home lab.
Exactly. Give you peace of mind so you can focus on the fun stuff, the experimenting, the learning, the building.
So wrapping up, it seems Proxmox Datacenter Manager could really be a game changer for home lab enthusiasts. It offers this user-friendly way to manage these complex environments without the crazy costs.
It really does. It bridges that gap between powerful features and a design that's intuitive, making virtualization more accessible and enjoyable for everyone.
For everyone, if you're running a home lab and haven't checked out PDM, I'd highly encourage you to give it a try. Even in alpha, it's got a compelling set of features that can really streamline your workflow and open up new possibilities.
Yeah, and if you're new to this whole home labbing thing, wondering if it's for you, PDM's a great starting point. Its user-friendly approach and capabilities can make virtualization less daunting.
It can make it downright inviting. This has been a fantastic deep dive. I don't know about you, but I'm leaving feeling inspired. It's amazing to see how technology like PDM is giving people the power to create, to learn, to experiment in their own virtual world.
I couldn't have said it better myself. It really is an exciting time to be a home lab enthusiast, and I'm excited to see what people will achieve with PDM in the years to come.
So as we wrap up, a final thought for you all. How will you leverage the power of Proxmox Datacenter Manager to take your home lab to that next level? What new projects or experiments will you try? The possibilities are truly endless.
Happy virtualizing.